Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You see the hat I got on? It's just something slight, something slight. But nah, welcome to Jump In with Jack, everybody. You already know, hit that like, comment in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tune in to all new episodes. Hit that bell notification so you know when we drop it. And you already know, still jumping coming soon. But today is Jump In with Jack, baby. So let's jump into it. So we got the Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals this week. Final game of the season. Obviously, we already know Bengals are out of contention, but Zach Taylor wants to still fight, still show that we got promise, still show what we could be next year. And I don't understand it, but again, that's not for me to understand. That's for everybody else who's a player to understand. But if it's me, like I said before, I've said it on multiple podcasts now. I think we should have went ahead and lost. Just tank for the rest of the season, get our draft pick as high as possible to help our guys, to help us be better and or help our draft pick be better and possibly trade back and just get more capital to be able to do more for our team because our team needs a lot of help on the defensive side of the ball. But again, we didn't. I'm not the GM. I'm not the owner. So obviously they didn't listen to me and they've won the last two games. And now we're sitting at, I think, pick number 10, if I'm not mistaken right now. 10 to 12 is somewhere in there that's at this current state of time. But we go into this week facing Cleveland. Obviously, rivalry game as usual. Battle of the battle of the Ohio teams. Um, I think it should be a good game as usual. Hopefully, it's not a close game. Hopefully, we're not the reason. I'm gonna say it because I know it's true. Myles Garrett's probably gonna get this last sack to take the record. I know it sounds crazy. I know that sounds kind of like, dang, Jay, you don't believe in your team? No, I just believe the last three to five times we faced Myles Garrett, I think he's ended up with a sack in all 5 games. So I'm not about to bet against him now that even if they do lose the game and Myles Garrett gets the record, I wouldn't be surprised. Cleveland still is a top rated defense. They're still very top rated on the defense side. It's just offensively, it's hard for them to put it together right now. Um, Shador Sanders has come in and he has had some bright spots, but I feel like still they don't have a lead receiver. Jerry Jeudy is not looking like the guy that we saw what was it, last year or 2 years ago where he looked like a number one. He hasn't looked like a number one this year. Uh, then the injury bug hits him with David Njoku being out David Njoku now being out. Harold Fannin after the last game where he looked like he's been slowly showing promise of why he should be tag teaming this, be a duo with David Njoku. Now he's out with a injury, so it's been tough for them. They lost Judkins as well to injury, so they've been struggling injury bug wise. And then the receiving game doesn't help them at all, or the receivers haven't helped them really at all. So, but shout out to Shador, shout out to that man. Big throw the wrist up, but I need Cincinnati to lock in one last time for the end of the season. Seeming that we're not planning to tank, we're in a situation now where, hey, we got to play. If we're going to play it, let's play it. Okay, cool. Hopefully we don't end up being the team to give up the record to Myles Garrett, but if we are, hey, it is what it is. As long as we escape out with the dub, I'm cool with it. I think Joe Burrow has played some really good football over the last 2 weeks, even though it has been against two teams that we are supposed to beat with the Cardinals and the Dolphins. But 600 plus yards, and 6 touchdowns with no interceptions is a great way to uh, show that, hey, that goose egg I put up against the Ravens when it counted was, hey, it happens. You know what I'm saying? It was a flaw on my end. But at the end of the day, hey, we move on. Speaking of moving on, I think it's about time now to say this again for the 15th time. I think it's time for us to move on from Zach Taylor. I don't care if we win these last 3 games. I don't care if defense shows promise. We've been showing promise the last 3 years when it comes to the final games of the season. We need wins when it matters, not wins when we're out of it. We want to show promise for our fans for the next season. No, I want wins when it matters so our fans can be cheering when it's the end of the season because we're going to the playoffs. I know they're saying right now he signed an extension some years ago after we went to the AFC Championship in 2022. That's fine and dandy. Hey, listen, coaches have gotten fired with 3 years left on their contract. With that being the case, if we got to pay somebody to get him if we got to get somebody off the staff and just pay him because he's still owed salary. It is what it is. But he's done his tenure here. He's changed somewhat of the culture. He's gotten us to a taste of winning with us going to the Super Bowl and getting to the AFC Championship. But now it's time to bring somebody in to help us get over the hump. And I think the guy that can do that is the guy that I've been voting for this whole time, and that's the guy in Minnesota who's the defensive coordinator. That's Brian Flores. He's a winner. He's won. He's been there. When he was a head coach, he won at Miami. And I'm not saying Super Bowls, but he won. He never had Miami in a situation where they were but. They were always a good, formidable team. They just were in a division with Tom Brady and at the time a building Josh Allen. So what do you want him to do? Like he's fighting against the forces. He's fighting against the top forces in the AFC East. So, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I think he would be a guy that he can come in. If he keeps Al Golden, he keeps him. If he gets rid of him, he gets rid of him. But I think he can come in if he has Al Golden, with the help of Al Golden, change that defense around, because Al Golden has done a great job getting the secondary together, but he can't stop a nosebleed when it comes to the run. And not to mention, our defense is worse than when we had Lou Anarumo. These last couple of games have probably upped his numbers a little bit because the fact of, obviously, we've pitched pretty good games in the last two games, so that's probably helped our cause. But at the end of the day, we're still giving up 400 plus yards of offense. The Dolphins game was even almost 400 plus. I think they were at 380 something, 390 something. So it's not like we're out here shutting people out in these last couple of games. It's just we've played good halves. We played a bad half in the first half against the Dolphins. Second half, we played great. We played a okay first half against the Cardinals, and we played great. Like, I'm not accepting that, because it's the end of the season. It's the end of the season, and it's the end of our season. Those games that we've played so far in the last two games didn't matter. So I'm not giving kudos. I'm not giving kudos or brownie points to games that don't matter, because when it mattered, we got 24 owed. When it mattered, we couldn't stop Josh Allen from getting out of the pocket and picking up 15 yards on a 3rd and 15. When it mattered, we couldn't stop a tight end from running up the seam against Chicago. When it mattered, we couldn't stop halfback toss pass against the Jets. When it mattered. When it mattered. So why am I going to give brownie points now when it doesn't matter? Chat in the comment section, tell me right now, does the defense deserve grace? I don't think they do. I don't think it's something that they deserve grace on, because at the end of the day, guess what? If y'all played at anything of this standard for the first 10 to 12 games, we're the number one seed in the AFC North without a question. And it's not even a thought process. We're the number one team in the AFC North. With going into the last week of the season, playing our bench players, because we've already won the division. But instead, we're sitting here fighting for our life to not be a top 10 pick when we need to be a top 10 pick. So again, it's one of those things where I'm just trying to figure out, one, as an offense, what's the game plan? Two, Zach Taylor, when do we see an improvement? Because again, shout out to Malik Wright, to sit down with Malik Wright. His podcast is amazing. He does his thing on his live videos every Wednesday. They were talking about, they have a segment called State of the Jungle, because he's a Bengals fan, and they were talking about how it's been 7 years and we're still seeing the same issues. The same issues. When he first came there, and we got Joe Burrow, and we started seeing Joe Burrow actually play, outside of when he got hurt his first year, his rookie year, we didn't have a run game. We had a run game with Joe Mixon. We didn't have a great run game. I know he had 1 year with 1,000 yards. That was the year we went to the bowl. But other than that, Chase Brown hasn't been no definite. We're bottom of the barrel when it comes to pass rush ratio. Chase Brown didn't really come onto the scene with running the ball until Joe Flacco got in the game, and that was because Joe Flacco said, "I'm not running, and hey, we're going to put these guys in particulars where if they want to think we're going to pass the ball the whole game, we're going to make them have to cover you." And we still didn't win games. And Joe Flacco actually, I think honestly, was running the offense a little bit better, because he was just making it simple. If you want to sit in this, I'll throw this. If you want to back off, I'm just going to throw it quickly to one of the best rat catchers in the NFL with Jamar Chase. Okay, you want to play off two-man high? You want to play back? Okay, fine. We'll run the ball with Chase Brown. But at that point in time, the same time we're putting up 30-plus points, we can't stop anybody. We can't stop a baby from walking. I'm talking about gaps the size of Texas running the ball. The coverage was pretty good, but it didn't matter because the coverage got busted. It was like, you ever had one of them old toys where you gotta crank it like this, and it'll be like, if one of those little things break, you kind of know because it'll start cranking and it'll have a weird sound every time you get to that point. That was us on third and long. We'd be like, first down, good. Second down, got them tackle for a loss. Third down and long, and then next you know, we give up third and 15 for a touchdown. It's third and 15. We give up 22 yards. How? Oh, it's about tackling. We got to do better with the basics. Isn't tackling a basic? That's one of the basics of football, tackling. If you don't know how to tackle, you should be on the field. So why are we still leading the league in missed tackles by a wide margin? That's good questions. That's questions that need to be answered. Y'all talk about accountability, accountability, accountability. Zach Taylor, when do you start getting held accountable for every 2 to 3 games? We have to waste a timeout in the first half because you can't get the play in. And you're the offensive play caller. You're not, it's not anybody else. You can't blame the OC. You can't blame Dan Pritchard because guess what? You're the offensive play caller. You haven't gave that duty up since you came to Cincinnati. When do we start grilling Al Golden for giving up third and 15? When you literally got them behind the sticks. When do we start grilling Geno Stone when he's giving up a seam route in cover two and the wide receiver on the outside goes outside release with no flat to pull the flat down. So he has to run. If it's outside release, we're automatically know that as a corner, if it's outside release, you run with it because the safety is not going to get there. That's always been taught. It's never been a let go technique. So why are we getting beat on four verts against cover two when he's outside releasing and we know right now he's not going to the flats? Like, what are we doing? Like, how do we do that? I got a question for the D line coach. What are we doing? We don't have a guy right now that should be still on the roster other than TJ Slayton. And that's because we just signed him. BJ Hill has done nothing. Joseph Asai has done nothing. Mike Miles Murphy is finally putting it together, but putting together for him is just not being on his backside. What else has Miles Murphy done? He got a couple pressures, couple hurries. That's cool. I need sacks. I need some of those to land in the sacks or something. Something. Because guess what? Just because you got a pressure, if he still completes the ball, it doesn't matter. The pressure didn't mean anything. So when do we start holding people accountable? We've watched this for 7 years now. The same first half timeout for no reason because we can't get the play in or something or communication is off. The same. Oh, we're gonna play hard for the rest of the season because we don't want to show we're quitters for 3 straight seasons. We've watched uh our quarterback go down 4 out of 5 seasons or 4 out of 7 seasons, either to season-ending injury or injury in general. We've watched we've watched our guys have MVP as Offensive Player of the Year as season and still didn't see the playoffs. When do we start to say, okay, we got to find somebody that can get us over the? That's my question. In the chat, tell me a NFL coach candidate that you think could take over the position and do well. I think right now I got Brian Flores. That's my pick. That's the only guy I'm looking at. I don't. I would love to get Robert Saleh, but I know right now Robert Saleh's not leaving San Francisco. Al Shanahan probably wouldn't let him. He probably wouldn't, just because the fact of what he's done to San Francisco since he's been back. San Francisco was dirt last year without Nick Bosa, and then they lost. They still didn't have Nick Bosa for a good party for a party year when they first came in, and they were still a top defense. They're still a top defense right now, and all they did was change DCs. So what do we need? What change do we need to make? Because we have so many things that we need to fix on the defensive side of the ball. Is insane. But I think the first thing that if you don't get rid of Zach Taylor, okay, then strip him of play calling duties. Give it to Dan Pritchard and let him show why we made him offensive coordinator. Give him a shot. Because we got to be more creative. We got to be. Everybody's figured out now. 3rd and 5, he's going to T. Higgins. 3rd and 8, he's going to T. Higgins, or he's going to try. If it's chase 1-on-1, he's going to go chase back shoulder fade. This or back shoulder. I promise you, it's clockwork. First down is probably going to be, he's going to try to be, it's either short pass or he's going to Chase Brown on an easy zone run. That's literally what it is. Short pass to T. Higgins or Chase, or a run with Chase Brown. It's only two options. Yoshi Voss is nowhere in the concept. I just want to know. So this week against Cleveland, since it doesn't matter, Zach Taylor. How about let's switch it up a little bit. Hey Dan, or if you want me to be professional, Mr. Pritchard or Coach. Hey, Coach Pritch. Hey, you got the call this week, brother. Let's see what he got. If he goes up there and calls a game, you can be a head coach and not try to be the OC and the head coach. I know you were good at what you did when you left LA, but let you right now have cost us multiple times with using timeouts because you can't do you're trying to do too much and you're not delegating. And the delegation should start by giving those duties up to the guy that you hired, the guy that you said deserved the job. So let's see why you said he deserved the job. But going back to the Cleveland Bengals game, should be a great game. It's a good bit of injuries. I know Joseph Ossai's out. Chase Brown dealt with some illness during the week, he's still looking like a go this week. Um, they brought up Howard Cross and I think it's Brandon Lowry. I can't pronounce his name right. I'm sorry. But he's a cornerback. They brought them two up from the practice squad for active roster. I'm thinking they're probably going to try to see what they got in the defensive secondary outside to probably play that nickel spot because Josh Newton is out this week. Josh Newton is out. So this should be fun. If I want to see what Shamar Stewart still has. Again, I've said on multiple occasions, I didn't like this pick. I still don't like this pick, but I'm going to give him grace because at the end of the day, is a Bengal. So I'm gonna have to face the music. But if he sucks, he sucks. But if he's good or he turns it around or he turns it on, he figures it out, and he starts to become a playmaker, I will be gladly wrong. But this should be a good week for Shamar Stewart and Miles Murphy really to show their worth. Because again, the Browns have taken a lot of hits on the offensive line, a lot of injuries on the offensive weapon side of the ball with Harold Frennan and David Njoku being out. I feel very good about their wide receiver core against our cornerback core because DJ Turner's been playing like an all-pro, and Dak still has had a good season. So my boy, Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart, it's your time to ball, brother. This is the last chance you get to show us why y'all were drafted where y'all were drafted. I would love to see these two guys show that we're going into the next season with two guys who are putting the work in to be better. So that when we consequently, in this near future, lose Trey Hendrickson, we are not in shambles. Because for the past couple weeks, and honestly the whole year, if we didn't have Trey, we didn't have a pass rush. And you're going to say, well, what about the Ravens game where we had 5 turnovers? 3 of those turnovers were Lamar literally handing the ball to the defense. It either slipped out his hand and then, or it literally, it got butterfingers. It was nothing on us being a dominant pass rushing team. If that's the case, then okay, you want to go throw the Ravens game, I'll throw the Bills game. What happened then? What happened against the Steelers, whose also offensive line was struggling? Didn't see that same defensive line against the Steelers offensive line. I didn't see that same defensive line against the Ravens offensive line when they came back and whooped us 24-0. I didn't see that same defensive line against the offensive line against the Bills offensive line. I didn't see that even against the Bears offensive line or the Jets offensive line because Justin Fields didn't even get touched in the Jets game. So these are my questions. Like, we need to find answers. We got to find answers for the problems that we have right now on the defense side of the ball. First big one is we can't stop the run. Second big one is even if we do stop the run, we have no type of pass rush. We have two guys who are again another reference from the Malik Wright. Sit down with Malik Wright. One of the guys came on and said, he was like, we have too many guys that are the same archetype. Miles Murphy and Shamar Stewart are what? Two specimens. What did they do well? Well, they stopped the run pretty well. Obviously stopping the run is not big on our forte because obviously we haven't did that good all year. So what do they do well? Are they good pass rushers? No. Neither of them are have a plethora of pass rush bag. It's not their skill set. But again, it can improve. And then not to mention, it's not like they can lean on veterans because half the veterans on the team are fighting to try to get a contract. So they're not teaching and mentoring. They're there to try to do the same thing they're trying to do, prove themselves. Joseph Osai is trying to prove himself. Cam Samples trying to prove himself. Chris Jenkins is trying to prove himself. Uh, McKinley Jackson is trying to prove himself. BJ Hill is still trying to prove himself. And they say he's proven, but he's just a vet and he plays D tackle. So outside of Trey Hendrickson, who's a proven commodity, who do we have to help these young guys? So again, I asked the question. Bengals fans, let me know in the comment section or hit me up on Instagram, jump in with Jack. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on uh, on YouTube, or you can even look for me on Facebook. I got it all. Come find me. Have this conversation. Like, what are we going to do with this team now? Because a lot of things are about to change. We have a lot of guys we have not paid, and a lot of guys that are going to be going into a contract, going to either free agency or contract negotiations with no bargaining chips. Joseph Osai doesn't have a bargaining chip. He did not ball out this year. Dax Hill has a bargaining chip because he's played well for 2 seasons. One season he got hurt. When he was playing well, and he got hurt. This year he's played well. He hasn't played bad. The secondary, honestly, has been the cornerback room has been the honestly light of the whole defense. Surprisingly, the cornerback room. Not going to say the safety room, but not going to say the DB core, but the cornerback room has been the light of the defense. So we know right now we just got to find a nickel. I feel like Dax and DJ Turner can do the bill on the outside. Now we have to find a nickel. And we got to find a safety. I think Jordan Battle hasn't been bad, but Geno Stone can leave today. I'll go into the game with Tyson Anderson back there. That's how much I don't like Geno Stone. Shout out to Geno Stone. But no, seriously, I think we could find better. We could find better. We could draft better. Speaking of drafting better, I think honestly, we should look into being like every other team in the NFL and getting us an actual like scouting department. Why do we only have 6 guys, 7 guys, 8 guys going to try to recruit not recruit, but scout a whole country of players when we have teams like the Eagles, the Ravens, the 49ers, the Broncos? Those teams draft well. So how about look at what they're doing and model it? The Chiefs draft well. The Eagles draft well. The Broncos draft well. The Bills draft well. Why are we not looking at the Bears draft well now? Like I need them to figure out. We need to figure out what we're really trying to do. Because I feel like the Bengals are in a situation where offensively we know we need a tackle. We're probably going to need another guard and another center sooner or later. I would say you could probably hold out on center to next season, to after next season. I think Ted Karras is okay. You're probably going to need a tackle sooner than later. So I would think tackle would probably be one pick in this draft. My pick would probably be Caden Proctor if I had the choice right now. I don't think he's going to be there in the second round, but if it's there, because I wouldn't draft him first round, I'm automatically taking edge. I'm not going to edge. It's either going to be edge or safety, and I'm leaning way more towards edge. Edge, safety, or defensive tackle. It's going to be more so D-line, but I would take safety if somebody like a Caleb Downs was there. But again, safeties for me aren't the people that move the needle of the defense. It's them guys on the front 7. So I would rather want the D-lineman than the safety. I'm not saying safeties aren't important because safeties are majorly important. Kyle Hamilton is the most important man on that Ravens defense when it comes to the secondary. He's the most important man. But again, I'm looking at it in the eyes of same thing for the Steelers, same thing. The only team that's different for is honestly, again, the Browns. And that's because, well, they don't have a dominant safety. They just have a dominant pass rush with Myles Garrett and those goons up front. So again, that's what I'm looking at. I'm modeling after the teams that we see have success. And I'm not saying we need to be the exact replica or copy, but we need to take notes and implement it to our toolbox. We don't implement the things that we see, the things that we're watching with our own 2 eyes. The Eagles haven't had a super bad draft pick in years. Bengals have had a bad draft pick at least every year since I've been a Bengals fan. I think every year we've had a just a terrible it went wrong draft pick. And that's including John Ross. I'm including John Ross in this, even though I know John Ross just wasn't. I think he was just not in the right time period when things were actually fitting his style of play. I feel like if John Ross were 21 again and was in this draft, John Ross would be a guy that everybody would be after. He would be that gadget, jet sweep, quick screen out to the flat or quick screen out to the flat kind of guy. I think he would be a guy that you would put in for those long, deep crossers or long, deep posts where it's a bang aid, go get it. We're putting it out to the goalpost, go find it. I think that's John Ross, but I think he was just in a bad time period. I think when he was there, Andy Dalton, the offense that Andy Dalton ran was not predicated on motion and things of that nature. I think if we implemented that more and he was in this year's type of NFL, John Ross would have been more successful. But that's just me speaking in the sense of the way, in the sense of him. But last but not least, my prediction. I know y'all. I know I went on a rant there. I know I jumped into a lot of banging on the Bengals, but these are the conversations we're going to have in literally in a day. In 48 hours, we're going to be talking about what's the next move. And if we don't have the answers, or if we don't have a layout or plan, this is now, we're going to be back in the conundrum, back in purgatory with one of the most elite quarterbacks in the NFL in the most unhappy state. And I'll be real with you. If we don't fix this, we're going to have Carson Palmer all over again. If we don't fix this, Jamar Chase isn't staying here to lose. Joe Burrow's not staying here to lose. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have won everywhere they went. They're not staying here to be losers. That's not the way they run it. That's not the way they think. They think of winning. That's why you didn't notice he was talking all that stuff about, if it's not fun, why am I doing this? When he wins, he had fun. He was having fun. When he loses, it takes a toll. You have to win, especially when it's a guy who's used to winning. He's used to winning, and then he got a taste of it. He got a taste of the Super Bowl. So what do you think his mindset is now? It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who the coach is. We need to figure this out. If people gotta go, people gotta go. It's no hard feelings. At the end of the day, I'm here to win. I'm here to put rings on my finger. I'm here to put a Lombardi trophy in that trophy case. I could care less if I put an MVP in the trophy case. That's cool. I want a Lombardi trophy in there. I want a ring that has a big B on it and that says world champion. That's what he wants. So Bengals, pull it together. Figure it out. Get a game plan together. Understand your needs. Don't be confused by these last three games. I'm counting this game already. Do not be confused by these last three games. Don't let these last three games fool you into thinking that you're only one piece away, two pieces away. Do not let this thing fool you to make you run this back with the same squad because it's not what you need. There's a reason why he said changes need to be made. I don't know where to. He knows, but he's not going to say because he's not going to throw his teammates or team under the bus or coaching staff under the bus. Changes need to be made. If your star quarterback and star receiver, who you just paid $50 million or $40 million and $50 million plus to, is saying this, what does that tell you about your organization? But I'm going to leave it there. Y'all tell me in the comment section, if you're the GM of the Bengals, what are you doing? You let me know. I told you what I'm going to do. If it was me, Zach Taylor's gone. Zach Taylor's gone. He would have packed this bag after we lost to the Ravens. We would have had Al Gordon as the interim head coach until we finished the season. But obviously, I'm not the GM. So let me see in the comment section what you got, and then we'll battle in the comment section. Have a good time, all right? But until then, make sure you pray, drink water, and you already know we are